You guys know the drill with my album reviews and tier lists here on the channel. We had 2hollis drop his brand new album for us called Star last Friday. We reacted to it on stream. My video's out on the second channel. It was a great night. And I've been listening to this project all weekend, and we're going to go ahead and break down each song track by track. Before we jump into any of that, like, comment, and subscribe to both of my channels. I have a Discord. Make sure to join that, as well as my Twitch. We're doing a ton of reactions and more over there. For the first track, Beginning, I guess I'll just put it like into the B tier. I don't want to put it that low because I actually like this song. Well, it's not really like a song, but it is like a build up into Flash, the first real song, which we'll talk about in a moment. But the flying sports cars, like F1 cars, those sound effects were cool. The rain, and yeah, just the build up was really, really nice. Hollis keeps you on the edge of your seat for the first track, that's for sure. And then Flash, I'm gonna put into the A tier. Somehow on this album, 2hollis makes the beats really catchy. His Holly Wanna Be a Star line was super clean in my opinion, because he's calling himself Holly, the nickname, which he did on this album, but also Hollywood Star, if you read it out, the ending of the track, the beat drop, is a true pounding to the ears. So I mean, it will be good in concert, and I like when 2hollis works that EDM, hyperpop, whatever, like all those drops into his music. It's just like you can't have a full album of it, and knowing when to use it is key in my opinion, which he did really well on this project. And that ending drop is something you have to listen to the whole track to get to that rewarding part, you know what I mean? And so he's really strategic with it, which I really, really like. And yeah, Flash is an all around very solid track. I knew it was gonna be like one of the better ones since I first heard it. And then the next track, Cope, is just gonna be in the A tier, I think, just barely. We can make some changes down the line, if we need to. He started this project off pretty solid right away. To the song Cope though, you feel the bass, and it's fine. That's one of the slower tracks because it's really, really grown on me over the weekend as one of the better tracks on the album. He does interpolate and sample that Heroes hit song by Tuvlo and Alessa. You might remember from our childhood, dude. I don't even know, but he does sing that We All Could Be Heroes. I think his singing was really cool on that part. You is track 4. I think I'm gonna slide this just into the B tier. Looks right to me. When Hollis says you are the poison to my flowers, they still bloom, like he has some nice lyrics on this album every once in a while. I mean, I feel like this was lyrically a solid album from him. I will never complain about a track like this, in my opinion, like a pop song from 2hollis, solo produced by himself, because to me this is like what I'd call like a standard, simple, like textbook 2hollis song. You know what I mean? You know what you're getting. The drops are good. They feel nostalgic to my childhood somehow, and yeah, it's a good track, man. Like, I'm just never really gonna think a 2hollis song that sounds like You or something like that is gonna be like bad, you know what I mean? And I wouldn't call it filler either. Tell Me is the next track, which will just probably put into B tier right there. This weekend I could not figure out what the instrumental at the beginning of the song sounded like or reminded me of, and I finally found it just before this video. It's Truffle Butter by Nicki Minaj. I don't know why the beginning of Tell Me reminds me of that, but it does. Obviously there's so much more that goes on in this track. I really like 2hollis's performance on this as well, because he can kind of like rap when he wants to, if you know what I mean. And that part where he's going off saying like, I only got real friends, like that part was fire, bro. But then you kind of get this big beat drop and synths, and I think the way that 2hollis's voice was kind of echoing, or like the reverb in the background, was really, really cool. Some tracks like this, it's like a lot to keep track of, you know what I mean, because sometimes so much can happen. But the cool thing about a 2hollis album is there can be so many little parts that make the album good, in my opinion. Like the attention to detail and sporadicness of a few of these tracks is what makes 2hollis, Destroy Me was probably like the most repetitive track. It's solid, you know what I mean? I'll listen to it with the album for sure. It's a B tier for me. He's saying, girl, tell me you want me, girl, destroy me. The piano that he did at the end was really, really nice. The synth earlier as well in the track, but that part where he kind of calms it down at the end was nice, you know what I mean? I think this one he produced by himself. Now Burn is so much fun, dude. This is easily one of the most replayable off the track list. I think I'm gonna give the first S tier. I really like the writing that he had on this one in the chorus. It's easily like one of the best tracks for me. I feel like I knew that off of first listen, but it's that bridge part or whatever where it sounds like really uplifting, and like inspiring almost with that piano. Yeah, and he says the only way to look is look up. At the end, you can kind of hear like the white tiger noises, which you hear like those sound effects a couple times on this project. He had heavy inspiration from his first ever album on this project, and another B tier for me. I'll stick it right there, like around the middle of it for right now, and it's one of those kind of slower tracks, but you really pay attention to the 808s, that's for sure. The part where he literally like describes the girl and her necklace and her eyes and, you know, girl come here lyrics, like that part is really cool. It's kind of a cute song, you know what I mean? Then we got Dream Rain Sports, which I will put into C tier because it is kind of just an instrumental, which puts you into like a cyberpunk world in a way. I did notice Jonah Abrams had a couple production credits on a couple songs around here, and he was on a Whole Lot of Red. He's done stuff with Destroy Lonely and also Yeet and a lot of those artists, you know, from that era. So it totally makes sense that he's working with like 2hollis, you know, on this project a couple times, because 2hollis is, you know, gonna get compared a lot to those guys, or just has like a similar fan base from people that listen to them, you know, at least on the hip hop side of things. Track 10, Nice, I think will go up in the A tier. We'll just, yeah, throw it in the middle right there. Looks nice to me, no pun intended, but it's a very like simple, easy to listen to 2hollis song that maybe has a wide appeal, you could even say. I don't know, but 2hollis just wants to be nice tonight, that's all. It's very easy to listen to, and most artists, you know, would heavily promote a single like this or slap a big feature on it or make a big deal out of it, but nah, not 2hollis, you know what I mean? He's just tucking some of the better tracks towards the middle of his album, the end of his album, and because a lot of people nowadays, they don't really know how to make albums or structure them, and 2hollis does, and it actually gives you a good listening experience, and yeah, doesn't just shove all the best songs at the beginning or slap features on stuff when we don't need it. He's not like that. Now, Nerve, this is the one. This is like probably my favorite beat on the album. That is also going to be up in S tier with Burn. I think that looks really nice together. It does actually feel similar to Nice. It almost feels like a part 2 of it. Just the way the song structure, the drops, the way he pronounces a few things, yeah, very similar type of tracks. I just knew Nerve was one of those like sneaky good ones on the album. I think Nerve is heavily slept on. I think a lot of people are going to talk about, you know, other tracks and moments on here, but he did a good job this area of the album keeping those songs together and kind of like section them off in their own kind of interludes, which I'll just throw in here because, you know, we're just waiting for that drop basically after a minute to get into Sidekick, and when Sidekick comes in, the next track after that, I want someone elbowed in the skull in the mosh pits. A little kid's getting taken out when this song drops. Ego I put in C because it does kind of remind me of track 1, and then Sidekick I'll probably put in B. That might be a hot take because I know a lot of people are really messing with this track. I just don't really know if it's like fully my style. I think it's, yeah, gotta be somewhere around there. Sidekick is also 1 minute, which I'm usually against songs like that, but 2hollis can make a lot happen in a song in just 1 minute. Unfortunately though, Sidekick is one of the last like upbeat moments on the album, which I didn't really expect the turn that he took into track 14, Eldest Child, which is also one of my favorites on the project. Ah man, is it A tier? Is it S tier? I'm not trying to glaze 2hollis too much, but I mean, bro, this gotta be up there, you know what I mean? It's not a perfect song, so I'd say maybe S. My goodness, is this album hard to rank. I don't know if he's the one playing the acoustic guitar, but this song is super raw and it's decently sung. I think there's a few critiques you could make on it, but I really like the singing or like melodic style of 2hollis when he tries it out and gives it a go. I really commend it. There's a lot of ups and downs throughout the album, but this was a moment right there that was like, wow, you know, I mean, it's really shocking. I didn't expect a track like this, and if he's ever gonna go in this lane again, I'm probably down to hear it. By the end of the track, I feel like I'm listening to the Lumineers or something with that like outro that they did with his voice. 2hollis is just showing his variety. All of a sudden we have alternative music on here where he opens up on this project about upcoming fame. I think had a lot to do with the album, you know, being titled Star, and how he's got to deal with it as he grows up being a young star basically. And Safe is another one I'll probably just throw in S tier somewhere. I don't know, man. It again isn't really a bad song. I think I want to maybe put You up a tier then possibly, because I really like that lane of 2hollis music. On Safe, 2hollis does say that a girl is double his age, so he's clearly a MILF hunter. I think he did a good job talking about his family too on this project as well, and he kind of wrapped it up in a way that I didn't expect the album to end, but I actually don't mind some of the slower music from him as well. He's shown he's got quite a range, man. But let me know please in the comments down below what you guys think of my review. This is easily one of the best 2hollis albums yet, and to bring up my tier list that I do for all of the reviews, the entire album, I'm gonna give 2hollis' Star Project just barely in the amazing tier. This is certainly one of the best projects of the year. I think a lot of it is going to be in rotation. Let me know what you guys thought of my tier list down below in the comments. More conversations over on Twitter, Instagram, so catch up there. Join my Twitch and also join my Discord, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.